would certainly be something that we should keep in the back of our mind. So let's see how T1's going to be able to do it. Their macro control and their tempo advantage in the last game. So
Of course, the interesting thing is that the amount of pressure that's being soaked by Liv Sandbox is very different from the early game. And now Fate.
Yeah, Croco looking to make his way in. But no more face breakers available, and the showstopper not there just yet. Just to let you guys know, the stats that we're showing for these matchups and things like that is based on the summer season, as Fate might just die here. One more auto, the flash, but the auto is already in the air, and Faker will get the first blood solo kill this time around.
Exactly those type of kills you can't afford to give over, because I think one of the things that as Liv Sandbox you were looking for was a relatively uneventful early to mid game, and then find a good team fight, you know, get that Maganar, get a 1-2k gold lead and snowball the game from there. When Fake is getting early kills on LeBlanc, it's not a good look.
Yeah, Fed LeBlanc can also skew an entire game, as we're going to watch Faker navigate this one. And it's sidestep into, lands the chain, skirts it past the
미리
minion.
잡았고 미리 노플 뭐하노
Got mid.
나이스!
No flash. What are you doing? That's what he said at the end there.
And that is exactly the type of thing that I think from Fate or Summit.
Yeah, slicing Maelstrom, just going to be so Fate pretty close to his turret this time around. He should be okay. Is Teddy and Carrier looking very aggressively postured here on the bottom side of the map on Liv Sandbox. They know that Faker and Owner are both out of position, and Prince is just dead. Carrier going to be able to stand beside his jungler, and Teddy moves out of the turret range. The minions still there, and this is going to be a reward.
And they might not even get Shelly.
Yeah, okay. Got a bit of a teleport coming through here from the keystone of Carrier. So he's going to turn up. Cannon's going to have to flash away pretty early, though, as Carrier's going to surprise them by popping towards this Baron pit. Now moving potentially away is Croco. Moonlight Vigil going completely wide. The Moonfall, I tell a lie, is now Summit. He's going to have to get out of there. T1 immediately on top of him, though, as Cannon just blocking the rest of Liv Sandbox out of the area. He will sacrifice himself for it as Faker just watches as the hook doesn't connect. And now he's got his cooldowns back. Heartbreaker comes forward. Effort going to be taken down. And now it's just the resets to come through. Faker collects another kill, and Sandbox are falling apart. Old Spellbook. Carrier pretty happy about his decision, already reaping the rewards. The Flame Trumpers just tell Teddy to move away, and he's going to say, all right. As now, he's just looking to kill Prince underneath this turret. Moonlight Vigil is going to miss. Good sidestep there from Prince, as Teddy is going to take a turret shot, but still wins out on the trade, as now Summit is dead here on the top side of the map. Goodbye. And T1 now just going to start the Rift Herald for themselves, and oh dear, Chronicler, this is going to hell in a handbasket.
Remember what I said? Nicely done. Has a lot of really... I say varied power as well, can go... Well, they're collectively 0-4. They got 1 assist on Fate, but that is pretty much it. The 1 kill that they get also didn't go to Prince. It went to Effort. And they're not going to get the Drake, so they lose the Herald. They lose the fight. They are now... I don't think that's a great place to be for Sandbox.
Yeah, I think that if T1 have showed us anything, it's been pretty clean, the play around their positioning. And this wasn't for Summit, unfortunately. Just overextended there just a little bit, as now Effort can avoid the Winter's Bite as he moves on out of the way, but Owner looking for Prince, who is told that he is not allowed to head towards this lane.
Yeah, that's gone. There's Chakrams available and an Herald, and this is the cross-map play being set up by Sandbox, and this should be successful. Faker does have TP.
Yep, Slicing Maelstrom is available. There's no stopwatch here for Canna or anything like that, so this is dangerous, and that teleport that you were talking about certainly comes on in. The special delivery of the cannon, he keeps himself alive for quite some time, but the face break is good. Croco gonna find the Moonfall, but it's not going to be enough to save his life, as now Faker actually moving the other way, just playing the do-si-do here with Liv Sandbox as Summit gets into angry mode, but it is going to be about Faker just trying to run them around. The Haymaker comes through, the Gnar is avoided, and Faker is going to take his time moving back to this one, and he knows that he can make this a 1v1 on either side, but still not enough funny business available, as the Rift Herald is going to charge into the mid lane once again, and he bought enough time for the rest of his team to really throw down.
Yeah, that's not worth at all. You lost mid-turret, and you're going to lose plates here. Might even get dove. Owner is in the area.
Yeah, Teddy's got those close-range guns as well, feeling pretty good about that. As looking for yet another plate. Look at this, he's so strong right now. He's got the Gale.
It's a 2-for-1, you know? It's not the worst. Oh, no.
Okay, Prince not going to overextend.
But there's multiple
Okay,
people.
maybe overextending includes moving towards your outer turret in the bottom lane.
Yes.
As look at all of this vision for T1 as well in the area. My goodness, it's such a scary place to be for a Jinx, even if she has Lantern access.
I think Carrier just killed it.
Yeah, why not? Got to cycle through your summoner spells. He likes pressing buttons.
Why not?
Not gonna take it away from him as Fate tries to run towards Faker, who is going to close that distance himself. Hook is going to go wide. As Faker is just playing with them here in the mid lane.
Looks like trying to play this comp from behind. This comp, until very late in the game, you're looking at 3 items from Prince, needs to do stuff to actually get something done, right? Like, you have very limited range wave clear. It's basically just Prince. If he doesn't pop off in fights, you're going to be reliant on the synergy between your 3 topsiders. But again, with the amount of control that is available, T1 really going to have to run into it as...
Yeah, Croco and Fate moving on in here. Carrier is just going to give himself away for this one, knows that he's dead. And meanwhile, Inner Turret falls in the mid lane. And I don't even know.
I think you can take it, I just don't think they want to. Which is kind of funny, but with the amount of pressure that they've already found, the outers already down in both mid and bot, and the fact that, yeah, giving up this Drake as well, or getting this Drake rather as T1, just puts off... Oh no, it's Infernal. So, oh no.
That's going to break down some of the walls here as T1 moving on in. Not going to be able to steal away Shirley, but now they're just going to guard the eye as best they can. And Live Sandbox, they're not allowed into this river. This is T1 territory. And it's just not going to be a thing. So the eye's looking around, it's like, where are my owners? Where's my family? They're not coming to collect you, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go back to the void.
It's just the saddest.
Yeah.
Actually, is it sadder than being, you know, taken and then forced to throw yourself into a turret? Or the Infernal Soul. And the reason for that is that Infernal Soul on a Fat LeBlanc or a Cannon or an Aphelios
Yeah, well, anyone that does damage.
Yeah, it's not very fun to play into, and it's also less space available for Summit to make the big plays, right? Look at the spaciousness that is now here for T1. Drake's getting started up.
Yeah, Fate looking over to the side here, looking for Canna, finds him, knows that he was going to be searching for a flank as well. As you can see, the Dragon just running between its 2 potential masters. It is going to be secured by Prince, but the Moonlight Vigil will connect. Glacial Fissure comes down, but the follow-up is not great, and T1 just going to have to let them get away. Good disengage here and good denial from Liv Sandbox. All the pressure that T1 have put on bottom side is Carrier. Going to face check here just a little bit. He's going to continue forward. Owner is in the area. They get the flash out of effort. The chains are going to connect. Now looks for the hook, but does not find it. Faker diving in once again. As, oh my goodness, the poke damage is ridiculous here. T1 will bully them out of their own jungle here on the top side of the map.
Really nicely done there as well. And yeah, Summer tries to do as much damage as he can. That's not going to be it, right? You just need to be there with 5 people and you need to get the combo. There is no other way around it for you. The nice thing though is that with Liv Sandbox getting that Drake, they bought themselves at the very least 5 more minutes.
Yep.
And that is a time that will allow Prince to get into a position and
is like the foyer.
That's also a much larger area of the building.
Yeah. It's in fact infinitely large in a lot of ways. As Owner, he's looking for Crocker here on the backside, and now he's going to get delivered 3 members of Liv Sandbox. There's the Heartbreaker. Owner just taking this one by himself for now, but he does have the stopwatch. Flame Chomper's not going to connect as Effort has a stopwatch of his own, but he's still most likely going to die. Croco uses his over the wall, will keep him alive, but now he's not actually able to continue fighting. Summit in the same boat as he hops his way out of this one, and T1 with this one pick, is it enough to get themselves the Baron? And Teddy with that Crescendum Severum combo. That's a lot of Baron damage. Looks like they are going to go for it.
And that is still, I think, a possibility for Liv Sandbox to turn. I would much rather, as T1 I think is doing, try and set up a trap, right? Not actually do this. Wait for them to walk in. Are going to start it after all, because this is now or never Liv Sandbox. If you can find them here, if you can take down, hit those multi-man ultis, T1... dangerous
so I think
game here.
Still available here as Fate does find himself the face breaker, but he's not going to be able to find his way in. Teddy with the Graviton, but no Moonlight Vigil, and T1 do just back away, not biting off more than they can chew in this instance.
A second Infernal Drake, and while the gold lead is still there for T1, we're seeing how Live Sandbox using the pressure that they have available with this threatening combo.
Oh dear, Canna gonna get his face broken yet again as Summit moves on forward. There's a slicing Maelstrom, finds himself the stopwatch, but it's not going to keep him alive, just smashed into the wall.
3 people back, so they're just going to give up this Drake and try to get themselves back in a better position gold-wise. And looking at Prince's items, more global gold I think is good, because while it's still, I think, a relative long shot, with Prince sitting on a 3rd item...
Yeah, enough to really want to go for too much more of a fight, but maybe going to be able to find something as the lantern going to be very valuable. Prince avoids getting that last auto through. Ono was desperate for it. Still not enough to win them the team fight.
And the amount of damage that was soaked here by Effort before it actually does is insane. Also takes a Moonlight Vigil to the face, uses his stopwatch, dodges a lot. And honestly, I would have rather seen Sandbox make a play on the Dragon here. I think that the play that they went for now is high risk, high reward. Because if you win that fight, you're golden in 5 minutes.
Halves completed, but the Infinity Edge is now done. 1 minute until the potential Infernal Soul for T1. They are going to be fighting for this one. Is Live Sandbox ready for a team fight? 3 items on Diana, 3.5 items on the Gnar, and most importantly, the 3 picked up for the Jinx as Faker gets out of the way of the Facebreaker. Teddy softened up just a little bit, but he's got the Calibrum and the Crescendum. Certainly what you want when you want to be fighting from afar.
I'm just worried that T1 is not going to contest this. To be fair though, it is a 2nd Drake, so they can just trade for Baron and be completely fine.
Yeah, I guess that is the more
the more conventional option. And it looks like that's what they're doing, but the vision control is really good from Sandbox. So I don't know whether timeline-wise that's really going to work out, as they're moving up here from Sandbox, trying to get prior control so they can either rotate towards Baron or the Dragon.
Yeah, Canna in position to grab the minion wave, but this is a lot of control for T1. Sorry, for Live Sandbox. Did manage to get that wave pushed out. So, Drake has now spawned. Live Sandbox still thinking about whether or not they want to contest for this Baron or just take the Drake. And Summit has said Dragon time. And T1 have said that they are just starting off on this Baron. Super Mega Death Rocket will spot it out. And Canna waiting over to the side. So 2nd Infernal does go over to Live Sandbox, and T1 feeling the pressure. They want to be able to take this one. They burst it and stolen! This is the team of Steelers, and it's going to be Croco's turn this time. And now T1 try to look for the fight to salvage it. They take down both. As now the dive on forward. The superplex is good from Fate, but he may just die, as Summit is the last man standing that has a Baron wrapping around him. I say that a little bit ahead of time, but I don't think Fate's going to survive this one. And that's exactly right. He goes golden for a moment to buy some time for his Gnar. He is still going to fall down, so that is 1 Baron.
Downside, of course, is that while you get the Baron, you give up basically everything. And now T1 with the counter push, death time is up pretty long at this point, Atlas.
Yeah, we are 35 minutes into this game, so Teddy should be able to start ripping through this inhibitor turret. And it's basically an afterthought. They're going to back away before taking down the inhibitor. 2 inner turrets remain.
Keeps Prince alive for a little bit longer. Could have been the turning point, and yeah, you still have the Baron buff on 1 person, but still I think that's a trade that you do take as T1. Honestly, I think the Drake take, in the grand scheme of things, more influential than the Baron steal, which is kind of weird to say.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen a lot, especially with these slower games, right? Indecisiveness breeds a lack of value for things like the Baron that do certainly require you to push that advantage. This is certainly a bit of a worry, as now Summit going to take a lot of damage from Faker, but not going to commit to anything as the Gnar bar is quite large.
Yeah, can we also... Summit had an amazing game 1, and then it wasn't enough. Also, basically unstoppable and unkillable by anyone on T1, right? Like, no one can really answer him inside, I don't think, with the Wit's End as well. And still very much in a position to carry games. 30 seconds on the clock for Drake, and...
Ooh, decent flanking ward here. It's quite far away for Canna, but he could get there if they do decide to move down to this Dragon. They're looking for a bit of poke, as the Chakrams do come back to Teddy. Calibrum is available as Ona's going to move to the south. T1 trying to keep them in position as there's the Moonlight Vigil. A lot of damage as Prince. Faker now looking for him. He's got a huge target. I mean, Faker just needs to get in there with a couple of spells and he's dead. Teddy going to use his QSS to stop that hook from being anything to worry about. T1 almost managing to find what they want. Faker just needs to find one more little pick, one more little corner as Canna has moved that teleport towards exactly the ward we were talking about. Prince now eating through some honey fruit as in goes Owner, and there is the slicing Maelstrom. Canna gets rid of Prince from the team fight, but my God! Summit and Croco obliterate the bottom lane of T1! And the top side of Live Sandbox have done their job, and now it looks like it is going to be 3 Drakes going over to Live Sandbox.
And the trigger does get pulled, but it doesn't end well for T1 as that backline dive coming into full force. A very split up fight as Croco... Yeah.
Oh no. Faker should be able to finish him off here as, yeah, the Diana is going to fall. Owner's going to be able to get the resets, and now Fate is going to be in trouble as well. The Haymaker does absolutely nothing. Summit trying to come forward looking for more, but maybe he's just put himself in position to be taken down here. The Facebreaker is going to connect. As now Owner heartbreaks, but yeah, I think the heartbreak belongs to Summit this time around as Faker just pops to as many different directions as he is likely to go. Anar comes down, but the drill is not going to connect onto Faker. It's only a matter of time, and that is going to be the finish. As T1, in the end, I think find the advantage they were looking for.
Get a couple of kills, and then they get baited into an extended skirmish that is beautifully played out. And the reason why this goes this way is because you see the fight is split up, and it's Fate and Summit that find Carrier and the Aphelios. Yeah, it's Aphelios, you know, you're good in playing into dive when it's front to back, not when they're actually on top of you, as is the case there. And then this bot side, it obviously goes okay. Nice exhaust there immediately onto Kana, who is able to just, yeah, straight up 1v2. Didn't cannon at this point, and monstrously fed also as the Rabadon's finished.
And
then
here
you're like...
tired in the middle there, as you saw. With
This is perfect. You know, just give up Croco. Just give up Croco and you're completely happy here.
Well, you're not completely happy, but you're more happy as Fate decides that, yeah. Sometimes Fate decides against you. That's without the capital.
No, I agree. And this is something that I think we've given a lot of criticism to Live Sandbox as a whole, justifiably so, is that they are baitable into these kind of skirmishes, and then you're skirmishing late game against a LeBlanc and a Viego, and that just doesn't really work, unfortunately. Now, the Baron was picked up. It's not over quite yet. Live Sandbox still in the game, and there will be a Drake in 2.5 minutes, which can still be picked up, but...
The 7th Drake of the game.
Yep.
Certainly feeling like a big collection of dragons this time around, as Owner is going to get himself out of the way here. Prince. Okay, that's a big flash from Effort. Not going to find the Flay, though. Maybe a slight whoopsie, maybe some over-aggression here. Some desperation showing for Live Sandbox. Half of his health bar now taken down. Live Sandbox 4 strong. Down here, should be able to defend. Stop this inner turret from falling.
And we talked about the lack of power that Live Sandbox have available when they're playing defensively, and their relative lack of ranged wave clear. As long as Prince is in the lane, obviously Prince's wave clear is nuts. The sieging for T1 is also not great unless you find damage like that.
Yeah, Moonlight Vigil comes down. That is a lot of damage. That's going to be enough to grab themselves this inner turret. T1 didn't have to invest too much towards that one. Love that play. Almost unanswerable. Yeah, by Live Sandbox, as Prince just takes too much damage if he's caught in the AoE.
And now if you get the topside inhibitor and you keep poking away with Faker, setting up for this next Infernal. Yeah, it's a bit of a roundabout way as T1, but as long as the end result is good, I don't think you're going to complain. You got to imagine as well that as Live Sandbox, if you lose this one, it's going to feel bad. Double teleport coming in.
Yeah, fate might be met by T1, though. All 5 members now just collapsing on top of him. The Mimic Distortion will get Faker in there as he moves back to the first one, then the second one. And he is going to be able to at least deter Fate from getting on over there. I was a bit scared for the Live Sandbox mid laner, but survived.
All the Jinxes online also went for Maul, so as your main win condition here, not a good place to be.
Oh no, Moonlight Vigil actually coming down as well, as Teddy's just said, no, get out of the way. Effort loses the majority of his health bar just from Teddy. Pressing what, like a Q button? An R button? That was it. Didn't even need to auto him. Live Sandbox licking their wounds are going to back away. There's an open inhibitor in the mid lane. The Baron's up in 2 minutes time, but T1 shouldn't need it here, as they've just pulled that tempo advantage that we talk about. They've got themselves the Infernal Soul, and now they're looking to just rid the base of any of these turrets and inhibitors.
It's the scenic route to the Soul Atlas, but it's one that gets you there nonetheless. You know, you visit some stores, you take a nice walk, but in the end you get the Soul one. Later than expected, doesn't matter. It's still an incredible amount of power with competition.
Better late than never. Absolutely.
Because now Faker is just going to one-tap people if they're not careful. They can keep this push up. Baron spawns in a minute. You don't need to force RST1. Right?
Yep.
You have auto shove in topside. It's going to be 2 super stacked there. Mid inhibitor also down. Play it patiently. They have decent vision behind him. Would like a little bit more. But with no teleport available, you're not too afraid either. And you see the damage that comes through now is just not manageable for Liv Sandbox.
Yeah, I think the patience here from T1 definitely warranted based on how the mid to late game transition went for T1. It was a little bit rough, but now they've once again grabbed the reins of this game. Carrier puts up the door. Now, how do T1 break this one open? Well, the first answer is going to be, let's throw as many minions towards this Nexus turret as we possibly can. Thankfully for Liv Sandbox, there's no wave here while they're sent to defend, and they keep...
In a normal game of League of Legends, you'd hit that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But we are a special region, Liz.
Well, Effort may just die. No, has himself the shield. He's going to be okay in the end. My goodness, throws down the redemption for himself as well. As Croco going to suffer a similar fate. As I'd probably write down Faker's POG on
no, I already
T1 pog card.
Don't worry.
Okay, beautifully done. As that has
right
just given them a Baron. Because now without Thresh, how he's supposed to actually approach the sitting duck, and that is a very...
And also, let's not forget that T1, in their heyday, and this is of course very, very far away, but they were the most notorious for turning these exact type of situations around.
Yeah.
And I gotta imagine that's also the fear that you have here, because even with the deficit, everyone is basically approaching full items. The power of Liv Sandbox is still something that you need to respect. But you see here the shoving power coming through. I don't know if they can handle it as Sandbox.
Especially when Faker can just dive forward with impunity. Looking for Croco here, he's going to do a fair bit of damage. The Moonfall finally comes out, but it just doesn't do enough damage. Teddy going to get redemption from the side as in goes Fate, but now he's trying to 1v1 against Teddy immediately. He uses the QSS flash to get out of the way. The Showstopper hits the wrong target, and now Prince is in trouble. Ona just diving on top of him. The Gnar onto Ona, but he's got a GA. He's absolutely fine, and Prince, not so much. No fountain for you, unfortunately, and T1 with a snap of their fingers, take down the Nexus at 47 minutes or something in this game and bring themselves to match point in this best of 5.
And that